Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Friday the 25th of April 2025. The year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai. All your posts put on chain. Right, let's see what we got today. So Zem Gao said, I had an exchange of messages with an analyst trader, TZ pseudonym, at BlackRock today. TZ asked me about BTC, Elon Musk and macroeconomics. I thought it may be useful to post part of my replies here. Now, we'll go through that article there. But this is a trader from BlackRock. And look at what's happened. Top left of the screen, 37.22. Look at this. Look at this. Let's see if this catches up. We've had a rally there, but the most important thing is that it is decoupled from Gregcoin. Look at that. This is Bitcoin versus Gregcoin. It's decoupled. Could it be anything to do with that? We'll just have a look at some of the analytics, some of the graphs, and try and analyze it basically. CoinGeek have got some articles here that I want to go through. A tale of two technocrats. We'll see what this is all about. Law enforcement moves to stamp out widespread crypto Ponzi's. Yeah, sounds kind of interesting. We'll see what else they've got. Cointelegraph says here, what's it? There were some ones here. Look, Federal Reserve withdraws crypto unfriendly banking guidance. What is all that all about? Crypto AI token surge. What a joke. And look at this. Bretton Woods institutions must reorient a US Treasury, Secretary says. Alright, I mean, quite curious about that. We'll just have a quick look at some of these. Some 365 days of Bitcoin. So today was the day that Fully Crypto released this article saying what was the Bitcoin New York agreement. Again, this was all about the scaling wars and all this kind of crap. But for any newbies watching the show, they really could do with knowing about that. And then that will be the end of the show. Right, let's get into it.
See Satoshi like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong and transactions flying free. Just wait for the terror node, you'll surely see.
Alright, so let's get on to this article here. Zem Gao said, I had an exchange of messages with an analyst. So I presume this must be email messages or something like that. And an analyst trader, TZ pseudonym, at BlackRock today. When was this posted? April 24. So this was just yesterday. I mean, can you imagine a trader from BlackRock suddenly realizing they're literally on the one of the biggest trades in history. Can you imagine somebody at BlackRock suddenly realizing what they're actually looking at, what we over here have been looking at, for years now, and then suddenly someone at BlackRock realizes this? Like, can you imagine? I mean, jeepers. Get some of the London traders that are hold on a minute, can you tell me that's actually what's really going on? Imagine explaining it to someone at BlackRock that's like, whoa, jeepers. So apparently TZ asked me about, this was Zem Gao, asked me about BTC, Elon Musk, macroeconomics. I thought it may be useful to post part of my replies here. So it says, Bitcoin, blockchain and introduction. I wrote extensively on this subject, Bitcoin and blockchain. I even wrote a book. This is bitandcoin.net. May I invite you to read the following simple articles. If you disagree with what I wrote, that's fine. At least you will have a glimpse of what my view is. BTC is a combination of cult and scam, which is Gregcoin, isn't it? The fraudulent fiat money and fake digital gold, Bitcoin and electronic cash, stock market amplified Ponzi schemes, tokenized credit-based community money. Note links in the article. I'm a builder and thinker. I've been involved in a startup project that is closely related to the last article above. If you are further interested, I would like to recommend that you get a copy of my book. Not trying to sell you the book, because the price barely covers the cost, and the Kindle version is free. Bit and Coin, merging digitality and physicality. About BTC and BSV, frankly, I'm surprised that you actually read these articles, or this article. You are a trader. I'm a philosopher and builder. I have so I guess he must have contacted Zemgao himself. He made the first move. I've never seen a trader who is genuinely interested in my views, and I don't blame them, because we look at two entirely different worlds. Not just two different angles of the same world, but two entirely different worlds. And my views don't help traders by a long shot. As a matter of fact, my views might even hurt trading prospects, and that's why I myself don't trade. For this reason, take what I say with a pinch of salt. First, you mentioned original BTC. I don't know what your definition of that is. BTC is BTC, a version of Bitcoin. It is not the real Bitcoin, but a corrupt version of the original Bitcoin of Satoshi. It is in fact, and I know it, but that fact doesn't matter to traders because the concept of originality has nothing to do with trading. It is deeply technological. For cryptocurrency trading, BTC is BTC. Whatever has been recognized in the market and traded is the whole reality. Who cares about what the original Bitcoin is? Only technologists like me do. Only technologists? How about economists like me? Like the fundamental economics. I think you'll find that we do a lot, actually. I care because I care about the actual utility of any technology to the world and to humanity. That's why I focus on Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, BSV. In the view field of a trader like you, BSV probably doesn't even appear on the radar screen. However, I'm not saying that the technological and economic reality of a blockchain is never relevant to trading. Ultimately, the substance will bear on the appearance. See price matters. About Elon Musk, my limited views about him can be found here. Musk is mostly sincere and extremely creative and charismatic, but he's wrong about Bitcoin and blockchain. Like many others, Musk thinks he understands blockchain and Bitcoin, but he doesn't. There's no denying that Musk is highly intelligent, but the appearance of his intelligence is multiplied by his influence and vice versa. The trouble is that the magnification creates the illusion that he understands everything. He does not. When it comes to Bitcoin and blockchain, he is probably just slightly better than average mainstream commentator, but still miles away from the truth. Again, I mean, he's just clutching at straws, going, "Oh, wouldn't it be really funny if a meme coin actually, became the main medium of exchange that the world used?" Honestly, if the world started using Dogecoin as an effing medium of exchange, we have lost humanity. Like, what the fuck? Seriously. About macroeconomics. You asked me to comment on the interest rate and macroeconomics. Although I do have my views, I don't think you really need to hear them. I suspect that you have your own views and are unlikely to change them. My first view is that the existing geopolitical, economic and financial systems, including fiat currency systems, are collapsing. The only way for the US and much of the world to get out of the debt is by high inflation. There is no other way. The political system and the human nature of the masses simply are incapable of implementing and carrying out a principled and disciplined solution. Not going to happen. Under Republicans, the US has a better chance, but still I'm pessimistic about it. From a biblical point of view, I'm a Christian and I don't try to hide my identity. I believe that the world as we know it is unlikely to exist 20 years, perhaps even 5 years from now. See the days and hours of end times. Ooh. The biblical view, however, is fundamentally optimistic, not pessimistic. I am more concerned with the existence and overall viability of humanity, not the short-term, even long-term interest rates and economies. I ask myself this very simple question: what will survive, continue to exist and be needed in the new world in which the existing systems have perished? A conversation with a BlackRock trader. Oh, has he published the entire thing here? Conversations with a BlackRock trader, April 24th. Hey, wow. Also, I wonder, has this had any effect on this? Look at this. Bitcoin versus Gregcoin. I mean, look at that. I've not seen that. However, I mean, Gregcoin has already gone to 93, and then I'm guessing Bitcoin is just kind of like catching up here. But this is very unusual behavior to decouple like this. So let's have a look at Bitcoin versus USD. Look, yeah, up and up and up. Another green candle there. So where are we now? $35.80. 37.49 top left there. That's very interesting. Very interesting. So only 35.79 on live coin watch. 20 24-hour high, 36.02. I've not actually seen price discrepancies like this either across the board, really. 36.20, 36.26, 35.80, 35.83. All right, so maybe it's Orange Gateway that's slightly out, maybe a bit behind. Who knows? Oh, 35.75. Oh, there we go. That's just kind of a price hasn't updated yet. Very interesting. Watch this space. Tell it while we're here. We'll just have a quick look at these figures. I mean, transaction has dropped off. Block size still 37. But I mean, see, look, the price is completely unrelated. Well, the reason the price is unrelated because everything is speculative right now. None of these figures correlate. At all, really. Yeah, they've been. Well, the test went exceptionally well. Yeah. But even still, 36,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gregcoin. Mining Bitcoin at a 34% comparable loss. 16% more profitable to mine on Fisher Price Cash over Gregcoin. It's actually 2% more profitable to mine on B Crash over Gregcoin. Gregcoin losing out today then. All right, let's have a look at some of these articles by CoinGeek then. Law enforcement moves to stamp out widespread crypto Ponzi's. How on earth are they going to do that? There is no salvation this Easter period. Oh, it sounds like it might be another article from Kurt. There is no salvation this Easter period for global crypto scammers. A Brazilian judge handed down a record prison sentence to a man convicted of leading the money laundering operation for Braze Company while in the United States. The Securities and Exchange Commission and U.S. Attorney's Office filed parallel charges against the man behind a fraudulent crypto scheme that raised $198 million from investors worldwide. Record sentence in Brazil. In the first of these actions, Judge Vincitius Costa Vidor of the 4th Federal Court of Campina Grande, Brazil, had a money launderer Joel Ferreira of Ferreira de Souza, 128 years behind bars in an April 15th ruling. SEC charges Palfox not to be outdone. Okay, this is more from Ponzi to pig butchering. Global law enforcement and regulators determine efforts to crack down on digital asset related Ponzi schemes like Braze Company and PGI Global are needed now more than ever as profits from investment scams continue to rise. I mean, they're absolutely massive, really. Interesting, though, just looking at the political landscape here, find out what's going on. I mean, they're massive fines or massive sentences. What's this? India aims to boost Africa ties through digital cooperation. India quantum leap pose national security risk. US target digital asset investors using Puerto Rico as a tax haven. Yeah, we did that one. What else we got here? Catch up with Peer Games Web 3. A tale of two technocrats. Let's see what this one was on. In the bruising world of tech titans, few rivalries have been as personally fraught or as consequential as the one between Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. What began as a philosophical disagreement over artificial intelligence has evolved into a full-blown corporate conflict, complete with cage-match challenges, legal threats, and competing products. Okay, so it's just about Zuckerberg and Musk. I mean, I have my doubts about. Well, obviously, Mark Zuckerberg has proved which side of the fence he's on. I'm still reserved about Elon Musk. I've seen him wearing jackets with Novus Ordo Seclorum written on the back, and like sits there in meetings, signing with his hands. We all know what that means. Yeah, all right. What else was there? What's this one? Catch up with Peer Game. Web3 iGaming made simple. Now that I've attended the tech gaming and tech summit in Prague, and I'm thinking about iGaming, I wanted to touch base with my friends at Peer Game to see what's new in their world. For those unfamiliar with the iGaming operator, Peer Game is a Web3 online casino featuring games built on BSV blockchain. Various digital currencies are accepted via connected wallets, guaranteeing players secure and nearly instant payments. By harnessing Web3 enabling tech, Peer Game promises fairness, speed and simplicity so its players can enjoy gambling without the usual friction of the Web 2 world. I spoke with their representative, Margie Dombrowski, for more details and to give you an idea of what this means and updates on all things Peer Games. Yeah, I mean, I did quite enjoy Peer Games when I was playing it. Very good. All right, let's see what they got on Cointelegraph here. So, Federal Reserve withdraws crypto unfriendly banking guidance. 13 hours ago, the Fed is rescinding its supervisory letter from 2022 that called for notifications in advance of planning or ongoing crypto asset activities. The US Federal Reserve announced it is withdrawing guidance that served to deter banks from engaging in crypto and stablecoin activity. The board is rescinding its 2022 supervisory letter establishing an expectation that state member banks provide advance notification of planning or current crypto asset activities. The Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve explained in an April 24 statement. Any crypto-related activities will now be monitored through the Federal Reserve normal supervisory process, it said. The Federal Reserve is also rescinding its 2023 supervisory letter that impacted how state banks could engage in stablecoin activities. Fed also withdraws statements warning banks of crypto fraudsters, along with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. The Federal Reserve withdrew from 2023 statements concerning banks interacting with crypto asset sector participants that may be engaging in fraud. Inaccurate or misleading representations and disclosures by crypto asset companies may be unfair, deceptive or abusive, contributing to significant harm to retail and institutional investors, the agencies added in the now withdrawn joint statement. Okay, so they're just maybe just freeing it up a little, you know. Let's have a look, see what this one was. Bretton Woods institutions must reorient, US Treasury Secretary says. Scott Bensant said institutions such as the IMF and the World Bank must correct trade imbalances and protect the value of fiat currencies against exchange risk. United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent recently called for Bretton Woods institutions, such as the International Monetary Fund, to reorientate themselves as a signal that the global monetary order could be shifting. Speaking at the Institute for International Finance on April 23rd, Bessent called on the IMF and the World Bank to correct trade imbalances and protect the value of fiat currencies against exchange rate risk. The Bretton Woods institutions must step back from their sprawling and unfocused agendas, Bessent said. He added, the IMF's mission is to promote international monetary cooperation, facilitate the balanced growth of international trade, and encourage economic growth and discourage harmful policies like competitive exchange rate depreciation. I don't believe that. I think they're just basically trying to herd the world into a one world currency. I mean, we all know that that's what they're really up to. Yeah, more emergencies. I think they're getting worried though. That's how I would view that. Alright, so some interesting articles there. Was there another one? A Vitalik and Ethereum story is less about crypto and more about being human. Yeah, whatever. Crypto AI tokens surged 34% while ChatGPT is... Oh, who cares? Honestly. Cheaper, faster, riskier. The rise of DeepSeek and its security concerns. What's this? Angels from Citadel Jane Street. JP Morgan backed 20 million raise for Theo Network. Give me a break. PayPal offers 3.7% yield on stablecoin balances. Not more Ponzi scheming. Absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Yeah, I mean, they're just report such crap. Such crap. What's this? Sailor holding 10 million BTC won't threaten the protocol, says author. And whatever. Absolute crap. I mean, people just read. I mean, what are they digesting when they read all this shit? You know, I mean, are they trying to figure it out? Have they been in it for 15 years and they still don't get it? Got nothing better to do but, like, you know, read this crap that makes no sense? I'm guessing so. Yeah. All right, 20 minutes gone already. Check this out. So we are now the 25th of April. And look at this on the 25th of April. Nike files a trademark application in the US for crypto kicks. Again, that was providing a digital currency or digital token for use by members of an online community. Everybody jumping on that bandwagon. 25th of April, Fully Crypto publishes an article titled, What was the Bitcoin New York Agreement? And tomorrow we'll go over this. So this is the 26th of April. 2011 was the final communication from Satoshi Nakamoto. It was on April 26th. He said, I wish you'd stop talking about me as a mysterious shadowy figure. The press just turns that into a pirate currency angle. Maybe instead make it about open source projects and give more credit to contributors. It helps motivate them. That was the very last time they heard from him. And then after that, I think it was 2014 where he said, I'm not Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto. But check this out. What was the Bitcoin New York Agreement? So for newbies who don't know, like 3 years ago. Yeah, April 25th, 2022. Reading time 5 minutes. Just have a quick look at this then. So the Bitcoin New York Agreement was a memorandum of understanding signed by 58 Bitcoin companies aimed at solving Bitcoin scaling issues. It's got no scaling issues. You know, it was Hal Finney, who I suspect was a CIA operative, that encouraged Craig to just put that 1 megabyte block cap in 2010. And yeah, that was it. It was a soft cap, you know. The meeting to thrash out the details of the agreement was held ahead of the 2017 Consensus Conference. The agreement was supposed to raise Bitcoin's block size to 2 megabyte, but it was dead within 6 months. The Bitcoin New York Agreement was an agreement drawn up in May 2017. Again, you know, May 2017, they already had SegWit, you know, in the bag then that they were going to release. Following a multi-day meeting with 58 of the top Bitcoin companies that were pretty much all scammers in the world at the time, with the intention of solving Bitcoin scaling problems. Didn't have one. The resulting agreement would have been the first stepping stone on the path to a cheaper Bitcoin, but less than 6 months later it was dead in the water. So what was the Bitcoin New York Agreement all about, and why did it die? The background: Bitcoin's scaling debate had been rumbling since 2011, when the limitations on the 1 megabyte block cap size implementation in 2010, so they got that right, so it wasn't there at the beginning like they like to promote, were becoming evident. With increasing popularity and usage, the Bitcoin blockchain will clog up and transactions will become both slow and expensive. Several solutions had been discussed by miners and developers in the intervening years, including two forks, which is Bitcoin XT, I think Mike Hearn developed that one, and Bitcoin Classic, and the discussion of the soft fork called SegWit. Soft fork, that's bullshit. They might say like, oh, technically it was a soft fork. No, absolutely not. That was a fundamental hard fork. A completely new network was created, which would go some way to alleviating the pressure of the blockchain. This didn't appease those who wanted bigger blocks, however, and no proposal gained more than 40% of the support from the miners, because they're all scammers. In bed with the central banks and the deep state technical team. With many parties due to be present at the consensus in 2017, clear the air talks were planned ahead of the conference itself, with the idea of coming to a comprehensive agreement about how to scale Bitcoin in a manner that pleased everybody just enough not to argue any further about it. The representatives of over 50 companies attended the meeting, including mining giants and the heads of leading Bitcoin companies, which took place around the weekend of the 20th to 21st of May. The fact that so many institutions were pushing the deal caused concern among others, and there were obviously plenty of bad blood in the room. Bitcoin company Blockstream, yeah, that's the deep state technical team, which employed several of the key Bitcoin developers, surprise, surprise, and had been accused of having a financial incentive to keep the block size low, yep, did not attend the meeting despite the SegWit implementation benefiting them through the introduction of the Lightning Network. Their omission that would be telling down the line. Discussions, the ramifications of the block size increase were discussed. The big blockers pointed out that the remaining a low block size would kneecap Bitcoin's potential and increase the transaction fees, while small blockers pointed to a potentially spiraling blockchain size, making running a node impractical and reducing decentralization. What a load of crap that was. Interestingly, both sides have since claimed that their versions represent Satoshi Nakamoto's original vision, which is, oh really, what, is SegWit in the white paper? Is the Lightning Network in the white paper? No, nothing like it. Is Bitcoin defined as a chain of digital signatures? Did SegWit break the chain of signatures? Yeah, it did. It fundamentally broke the model and turned BTC into an economically worthless security offering, which is what they wanted. So the original version, which is testament to the lack of clarity. The man himself offered no matter. He never clarified why he secretly implemented the 1 megabyte block and offered contrasting opinions on its planning longevity. Middle ground was eventually found on the SegWit front, but only if the block size increased to 2 megabytes. But only if a block size increased to 2 megabytes would follow. This was decided at the best. As the best compromise for all parties, with the threshold for acceptance from miners pegged at 80% and the work on the blockchain increased to begin. The agreement, the digital currency group, again another cabal organized group, the organizer of the conference, posted details about the agreement on May 23rd. They said, May 23rd, 2017, we agree to immediately support the following parallel upgrades to the Bitcoin protocol, which will be deployed simultaneously and based on the original SegWit 2 megabyte proposal. Activate segregated witness at about 80% threshold, signaling at a bit 4. Activate 2 megabyte hard fork within 6 months. Look, they're calling the increase in the block size a hard fork. What a load of shite. Is gaslighting is what it is. Massively gaslighting. This agreement was met with a sigh of relief through the Bitcoin community, with the promise of all sides to commit to the research and development of technical mechanisms to improve signaling in the Bitcoin community, as well as to put in place communication tools in order to more closely coordinate with ecosystem participants in the design, integration and development of safe solutions and increase Bitcoin capacity. As a result, everybody connected to the Bitcoin ecosystem began working on preparing their software for the SegWit 2x upgrade, or at least almost everybody. Yeah, well, that's 27 minutes already. I might link the article below if people want to read it, but that 2 megabyte thing never happened. They never wanted it to happen. They didn't want it to happen. They want everybody to use the Lightning Network to starve the miners of the transaction fees, so that the network will eventually crumble and disappear, or they'll move it to proof of stake that they control. No competition in the system. That is it. That's all they're doing. Outrageous. Right, there we go. Exciting stuff. Check out 3765 top left. Nice, all right, we'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed it. So as ever, if you enjoyed these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi at Senbit.com, handcash.io, rockwallet.me, simply.cash, relasia.com or senti.ch. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.